It was a long overdue family gathering in Spokane, where we celebrated my sister's birthday, my niece's 10th wedding anniversary, and my brother's life well lived. As usual, we helped out where we could.
Be careful.
And enjoyed reuniting with extended family.
Way to go, guys. I can't believe you did it.
With your ID. There's even a TV.
We got the oil changed, washed the van, and eliminated that annoying backup beep.
We just had our first oil change at the Valvoline place. $90 with the coupon that we got because we called ahead to see if they had all the filters and everything we needed. And now we're at a car wash. We're going to give it a rinse. Oh, by the way, I did have with me the Blackstone oil test kit. So they gave us a sample of the oil, and we'll send that in and see what our first oil change looks like. Okay, we are trying to disable the horn on a 2023 Ford Transit, and we just found the horn. It's in the back left quarter panel, and we're going to disconnect this connector here, right here, this blue thing.
Now it's time to start heading south and toward a new chapter in our van adventures. More untethered, slower travel, prioritizing experiences over destinations, and embracing the unpredictable. US 395 is always our preferred path, but this time we take a few unexpected detours as we adjust to our new ride.
There's a lot of people there. I guess everybody was hungry for breakfast.
Is there a fair going on here?
Maybe so, I don't know. This is called the Country Mercantile. We always stop on our way along 395. They have lots of goodies. It must be apple season. Look at this. Wow. Nuts, candies, and chocolate. Name it. Oh my gosh, look at these. Oh, those look fabulous. We have made it to Pendleton, Oregon, and when in Pendleton, you have to stop at the Pendleton store. That wasn't necessary. Historic Pendleton Mill. We just heard back from Agile. Were they the one that contacted you?
Yes.
They finally got with Ford, and they can't put a locker in this card. Only a dually can they put a locker in the rear diff.
I consider them the best of all. A mill in Hamilton, Ohio called Schuler and Benninghofer, and they made a very fine line of blankets called Hamilton in Pendleton, Oregon, and the Oregon City Woolen Mills.
Wow.
So these are many cases. Blankets are fringed. They are particularly used as dance blankets.
Garbage trades. Wow, that's a lot of logs. This is Pilot Rock.
That's the Pilot Rock.
Drive the same roads every day.
Pilot Rock Sawmill.
We both get there our own way. Thistle and an apple tree. How different two souls can be. But we both grow from the same sorrow. If we both know we'll be together tomorrow, I can be like a tree in the wind. Same old roots, but I can bend, turning to understand and sway together.
Clyde Holiday State Park in Oregon.
Now it's almost like a dance, the rendering of stubbornness, and it just cuts us deeper through the longer I'm away from you.
We're taking a major detour today. We're gonna head west to Smith Rock State Park. It's over by Bend. They only allow tent camping there, but then we'll head back down toward Burns. Yeah, Burns. And there's some dispersed camping down that way, so that's where we'll spend the night tonight. We've only gone maybe 3 miles. We've already seen 5 deer, so we've got to be super careful this time of day. There's a fire camp. Just passed a fire camp. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to shed some light on some of the differences between like CAL FIRE and the Forest Service, because there was a big article in the LA Times yesterday where they were complaining about the lack of response by the U.S. Forest Service to a fire down in Southern California. They can't keep firefighters because CAL FIRE pays twice as much. And as you saw in that fire camp, they're all sleeping in tents. And when the really cold weather comes, the firefighters often just leave. They also, the CAL FIRE people and the others, get paid portal to portal, where the U.S. Forest Service people do not. People that work for the Forest Service, they're not the ones that decide how much money they get to get. It's Congress. And so it was really hilarious in this article. They had 5 members of Congress from Southern California pointing the finger. And it's like, you got the finger pointed the wrong direction. This is the first time for us on this road. This is US 26. I don't like that antenna though. Bunch of turkeys.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Lambert Road.
Smith Rock State Park, half mile ahead. Seatbelts. It's supposed to be like a rock climbing heaven back here. Climbing rock. It's nice. It's a Wednesday and this place is already crowded. That's interesting.
Smith Rock State Park is part of the Crooked River caldera and is composed primarily of volcanic tuff and basalt. The reddish-brown cliffs are a result of ancient volcanic activity, and the rock formations are ideal for climbing. The park is credited with being the birthplace of the modern sport climbing movement in the U.S. There are hiking and biking trails for us non-climbers. Smith Rock is famous for its sport climbing routes, which feature pre-placed bolts for protection.
And then there are these.
We were lucky to be entertained by 5 river otters. According to Smithsonian, you can call a group of otters a bevy, a lodge, or a family. But whatever you call them, they seem to catch one fish after another. Apparently, their boundless energy comes from their high metabolism, requiring that they eat all day.
Wow. Caught something. Caught a fish. Oh, yeah. dude. Let's go. A lot of trails back here. 4 miles. Beautiful day. Oh, great day for a hike. Now we're gonna go into Bend, get a couple of things, and then find another campground. Well, it's actually a dispersed spot that we found. Chickahominy wreck site. Here we go. I'm tired. It has a boat ramp. Can't believe there's water there. You can't see it from the road. It just pops up out of nowhere. We have a lovely waterfront spot. I am up on the roof. A video. Guy is really lifted. It's amazing. It's 4,300 feet here. No wonder it's a little chilly. It said it was 33 degrees. You can focus, can't you? Can't you focus? No, not quite. We're almost always driving north on 395, so it's interesting to go south. You see a completely different view.
Lake Abbott is located along the Outback Scenic Byway in south central Oregon. It is picturesque and lightly traveled, surrounded by desert landscape. It is one of the largest saline lakes in Oregon and is a closed basin lake. During wet years, its size can swell to 64 square miles, just smaller than the size of Washington, D.C.
In a quarter mile, slight left to stay on US 395 South.
Welcome to California up here. Inching closer to home. Right down there is that campground that we've stayed at many times.
Welcome to California.
We're in the parking lot at Holiday Market. We're in Alturas, and if you ever need a grocery store when you're in the area, it's a good one. So here's our plan for the rest of the day. We are going to head up to Lassen Volcanic National Park. Got a campsite up there for one night, and then tomorrow we're going to head up to Tahoe. Our grandson has it's a homecoming football game. And John has been talking about that for months. We'll do that, spend a couple days there. And then we're going to spend most of the rest of the week, next week, up in the Eastern Sierra because there's a heat wave right now going on in California. So we want to stay high and then go home a week from this next Sunday. And also get to see fall color. There's Mount Shasta. Here's the museum we did last year. Last year. Was it spring or fall? I don't remember.
Nice place, though.
Yeah, it was good. Look at that. Saving a lot of cars. We made it. Pretty much alone here.
From the campground, it's an easy walk to Manzanita Lake and clear views of Lassen Peak, an active volcano that last erupted in 1915.
The last eruption here happened between 1914 and 1921, and it was photographed by a guy named Benjamin Loomis. There's a museum here that's only open in the summer, but I guess that has his photography in it. Have to look it up online. And I think he was largely responsible for this becoming a national park. And I want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers who came by our campsite tonight, Walter Moore. He runs the Peninsula Open Space Trust. It was 2 3/4 miles, and we're going to celebrate with some ice cream. We've been savoring it. Today we're going to just do the auto tour because we need to be back in Lake Tahoe. But if you're ever here in the off season, the Loomis Museum, which is over here on the north end of the park, it has the auto tour guide, but it's closed this time of year. So you might want to come in the other way or get it ahead of time. It's probably available online. I'll have to look, but there's no cell service here. So we're just going to do this auto tour and then come out this end and then head down to Susanville and then on to Tahoe. The only 2 campgrounds open this time of year are Manzanita Lake, the Manzanita Lake Campground and the Butte Lake Campground.
Wipe the sleep from your eyes. Quit dreaming now, the sun is on the rise. And by the end of the day, this dusty room will be 1,000 miles away.
The 2021 Dixie Fire was one of the largest wildfires in U.S. history, burning nearly 1 million acres. It burned over 80% of Lassen Volcanic National Park and took nearly 2.5 months before it was fully contained.
The place was devastated. There's nobody here, and there's supposed to be a waterfalls down here, so I think it's, I don't know, maybe a mile at the most. I'll look it up. So we're here, we want to go there. So it's actually 7, oh, that looks like a cutoff. That, and then that, and then, okay. Depending on which way you go, it's either 1.1 miles or 1.1 miles. Kind of neat, there's nobody here. John just reminded me of something we read in Canada where they said they had 700 years of logging that they could do up in Algonquin, wasn't it? And they cleaned it out in 50. This is not the kind of area you want to hike through in a windstorm. There are a lot of widowmakers here. So we come back up this way. It's probably because it's so slippery. Okay, 0.8 of a mile to the Kings Creek Trail Falls, which is different from, we've done more than 0.2 of a mile. Checking his heart rate. John says the altitude here is 7,200. Kind of surprising that we haven't run into anybody yet, and we're almost back to the car. We did 2 miles. It was a good little hike. And now on to the visitor center. Sweet home. For all you guys that have a Ford Transit, tell me if your thing constantly tells you that you have a parking impact. Parking impact detected. Every time we get in the car and start. It's weird. Maybe it's just because that's an aftermarket radio.
Could be the dash cam.
Could be the dash cam too. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Here's the big girl. The big plug volcano.
Lassen Peak is the largest of a group of more than 30 volcanic domes that have erupted over the past 300,000 years in the park. The May 22 eruption produced a paltry 0.007 cubic kilometers of volcanic material within about a week, 35 times less than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. Volcanic ash fell as far as 200 miles to the east and devastated nearby areas. While Lassen Peak isn't likely to see another eruption, future events will likely pop up in places away from the peak itself.
This road takes you to the highest point. It's the how do you put this? It's the highest elevation road in the Cascade Range at 8512. Oh, that's a big parking lot. Oh. Yep, it's 2.5 miles. I'm guessing that's one way. So 5 miles. You can get there. 1,045 feet. So basically you're climbing 1,500 feet.
Trail right there.
Yeah. John says those guys aren't wearing gaiters. They're going to bring half the mountain back with them. Okay, on to the visitor center. Yeah, there's Helen Lake. Plenty wide for a Model T. Working on this. There are 50 volcanoes in the park, 4 different kinds: shield, plug, composite, and cinder cones. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get off here. Oh yeah, you can see the steam coming up.
There are a number of mud pots at Lassen. The most famous can be accessed from the Bump Ass Hell Trail. The most accessible is located along the park road called Sulphur Works. It's the most active area in the park and was first developed commercially in the 1860s by Thomas Lee, who purchased the land and built a primitive bathhouse and began mining sulfur for medicinal purposes.
Wow, this is amazing. Oh, wow. So mud pots change with the season. In the late summer, although this is late summer, there's very little precipitation, so they go dry and dominated by steam. But in the springtime, when the snow melts and water mixes with the clay, you get a cauldron of mud, which is what we have now. It's sticky. Wow. Looks like we got some more. What do we have down here?
Okay, so we're here. We passed Bump Past Hell, right?
Yeah.
So this must be the next range over, or the next set of peaks over. Is that still part of the park?
This one tells you about the broke-off volcano. I guess before it broke off, this thing was 11 miles across and was 11,500 feet tall, taller than Mount Lassen. We didn't stop at the biggest mud pot, which is at Bump Ass Hell, called Bump Ass Hell. Hope I don't get a strike from YouTube. But that's what it's called. I'll leave something for next time, like Devil's Kitchen and Boiling Springs Lake and Terminal Geyser. Now we're at the visitor center. I have to confirm that. John says they allow camping in the parking lot when the campgrounds are full, but we're gonna have to confirm that. The scoop on camping in the parking lot is that anytime, whether they're full or not, you can overnight if you're in a self-contained rig, and these restrooms here in the visitor center are open for your use. It's $10. You have to fill out the form that's down there. I asked the guy if he knew if you have the senior thing, whether that was applicable. Let's go down and find the thing and find out, because he didn't know. Okay, this says campground's closed, but that guy said you fill out a form. Maybe this isn't it. So now I'm totally confused whether you could camp here or not. I guess you'd have to call the office and clarify. Okay, we don't need to, so let's go. And then the other thing is the driving guide that is on the National Park Service app, if you have that on your phone. You can either get on the Wi-Fi here at the visitor center or download it before you come up the hill. For having us. What a sad sight. Man. Dixie Fire, just really, you just don't realize this thing was just completely scorched.
We are now on the home stretch, every minute carrying us 1 mile closer to family and our sense of belonging. Family offers us comfort and resilience and a sense of purpose in life. Thank you all for your thoughtful and heartfelt condolences, and especially for sharing your favorite music with us. It makes us feel closer to all of you. John volunteered to create a playlist, and when he does, I will pass it on. If there isn't a video next week, it just means I'm hip deep in alligators and will catch up with you the following week. Thanks for watching.